Most system configuration is going to be done through the Windows registry, but there are some instances where you may need to edit INI files instead. And the INF engine has a directive which allows you to accomplish this task called UpdateInis. And this again will point to a new section called INI values. We'll just call it that, and put our INI values underneath here. Taking a look at the Windows 95 resource kit, this is what the syntax looks like. You specify the path and file name of an INI file. Then you point to the section that you want to focus on, and then these fields, these parameters are dependent on what exactly it is you're trying to do. You know, if you're trying to just create a new value underneath a section, you don't need to type this in. And then say if you want to delete, we'll just cover these as we go along through these little examples that I'm going to be demonstrating here. Of course, this does have flags. We're not going to focus on all of them, just covering the default and one. So let's actually create the INI file from within our INF file that we've created. So using LDID value 10 to point to C Windows, and we're going to put this on the desktop and call it test.ini, and then we're going to name the section new sect, and we're not going to put anything in this parameter because we're not dealing with any sort of old INI value, as in fact this file does not yet exist. And for the new INI value parameter, we're going to type in, surrounding these in quote marks, great, equals garage sale. And let's go ahead and save that. So it does print out this string correctly in here, but there are some cases where you may want to, say, surround this value in quote marks, like between here at this point and this point at the end. And you can do that by adding double quote marks, like two, I guess you might call this quadruple quote marks, technically. You've got a double quote and a double quote, and these are going to be consolidated into single double quote marks. I'm not even sure what to call these. Is this like a double quote mark? But we'll just see that we have our quote marks surrounding the value now. So, say maybe I wanted to replace this with something else. I can go ahead and do that. So now this becomes the old value parameter, and our new value parameter is going to be largely the same, except now it's up for question as to whether there is a garage sale. And as you can see, the INI file is now extremely doubtful. If you perhaps want to just get rid of a certain value, you could only type the old INI, the old value inside the INI file, and add a comma here. It's important, but don't add anything for the new value. And you should see that the line is emptied out. But this didn't actually match, so I'm going to put it back here. Say maybe you only want it to be deleted if this matches this. And for that, we can put a flag of 1 here. So let's go ahead and run it. And it does not touch this because the key matches, but the value does not. But if I go ahead and change this and install, now the line is gone. Let's go ahead and just restore that to what I want it to be like. To really put this into a little bit more practice, we're going to edit system.ini in the Windows directory. And what we're going to do here is change the shell from the usual Windows Explorer to the Program Manager. So let's go at this again by pointing to the existing system.ini file. And we're going after the boot section. Shell equals, and I'm going to put a wildcard here. So regardless of what the value of shell is, this is to be replaced with shell equals progman.exe. And I'm also going to add another UpdateInis directive here. So let's go ahead and type restore inis and grab this line over here so that when we commence deletion, we restore the Windows Explorer. So let's go ahead and try it out. Of course, nothing happens yet, but if we go ahead and log off, then log back in. Oh goody, what has happened? We are now at the Program Manager. So what do we do here? We don't have a lot of programs in here because Windows 98 doesn't add program groups automatically to the Program Manager like Windows 95 does, which is kind of a misfortune. So perhaps I should go back, change to the desktop, and run our usual command here. run DLL, setupx.dll, install inf section, commence deletion 132. And this section has been executed now, so if I go ahead and log off, log back in, and we are back in Explorer. So now we can use Windows 98 a lot more comfortably. Unless you prefer the Program Manager, I'm not holding you against. I'm not holding anything against you for that. But that's all I really have to talk about for UpdateInis. So in the next section, we'll cover updating autoexec.bat and config.sys for perhaps in the case maybe you want to add some terminate stay resident programs to your Windows 9X installation, or you have some kind of a driver that wants to also include some real mode DOS drivers or executables for any such purpose. So I'll see you in the next segment.